So you see your game. Okay, let's discuss the game first. You get your game right, result right? Okay, you can ask one more class, and then I let you go. Okay. Any questions? If you have, okay. All right. Again, the question is, you are not a segment leader. Then the leader right now cut the price. What can you do? All right. So what can you do? There are a lot of strategy. All right. There are a lot of strategy. So what can you do in general? I think we discussed that last time. All right. So what can you do? Okay. First one. Why leader want to do it? I think the first question should be why leader want to do it. I think that's the first question. Understand his intention. And then you try to see. So understand that now. Why leader want to cut the price? Three possibilities we asked last time already. First one, overcapacity. All right. All right. So cut the price. Second one, yes, this guy want to take all the market share back. The third one is he hope everybody drop the price. All right, we say that. So the industry will drop. All right. So again, so there are three possibilities. So what can you do? You have to go back to think who you are. What can you do in general? When I say what can you do is what? You analyze yourself. First one, what is your market power? How much resource you have? What is your company really good at? And then last one is what's your strategy? What can you do for the next one? So all these are involve a lot of things. So first one, you understand what competitor do. Second one, understand yourself. And then you make decision that I say that. So again, there are three possibilities you can do. One is there are three possibilities you can do. First one, cut the price. So you will initiate price war. Second one, increase quality of product. All right. So you want to be a niche player. You want a niche player. All right. So if that's still very profitable, look careful. All right. Look careful. Look at what he do. All right. Is he doing the sales force or doing technical support, whatever? Then what he can do. In general, all right, so if you still have market share there, so that's the second one I said that you can be a niche player. And again, that niche player, be very careful. For the market segmentation, we say that it's very important that the segment should be substantiated. In other words, it should be big enough in order to generate that, all right? So what's the third one? What you can do? What's the third one you can do? Also another option, some already did. Increase the price, very good, all right. Increase the price, that's possible, in fact. All right, now there's another even worse, not worse, all right, it's even another version. So increase price, increase the support at the same time. So you send a signal to the market that you want to be a niche player. And last one is what? There's another one. There's one last one. 36季的最后一季。36季的最后一季，还是有个季嘛 ，all right? There's a according to the 3季，那3季 ，all right? Whatever the game or the rule in China, right? So the last one is what? Withdraw. Now, be very careful, all right? So among all these alternatives, very important is your grade. I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about your grade. Your grade will depend on two things: the cumulative net contribution. That's first one. Second one, also the last game of your market share. So I said that we need two things: cumulative net contribution. So you win more of that. Then the market share. Now, the market share, if you look at the market share overall, be very careful, right? Because the market share is based on the sales volume. No, sorry. Based on the dollar contribution, not based on the unit. Let me repeat. So market share can be unit versus the dollar value. Now, if this is a high segment or low segment, that's totally different story. If low segment, meaning that the unit price is low, you probably have fight for a huge amount of unit sales in order to get to the dollar share. If this is a small, the high volume sale, then that's contribute very high in terms of your market share in the dollar value. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's quite different. So it's a unit versus the dollar value, and you make a judge. So what I can try to tell you that is even just to imagine that, all right? I think in real life, a lot of company, like Microsoft, like IBM, the whole bunch of company, they come by. I think we said that last time about the brand extension, and a lot of companies really try to drive everybody out. Meanwhile, a lot of niches try to survive. And again, what I try to say here is 3%, 5%, even 6% make a lot of big sense. All right, I don't know whether I can tell you enough message or not. Because of the game, I ask you to based on this, not this. So therefore, the strategy, the high or low level of the strategy make a lot of big sense. And in the game, in the real life, 2%, 3%, whatever, I think 3% or 5% all make sense. As I said, you are 20% right now. If you can get 23, so this is a zero-sum game here. Let me repeat again. This is a zero-sum game here. I got 20% here, I got 25, so someone will lose 25. So don't say 3% is not important. No, 3% is a lot of money. You can never do that. When I was in Pepsi Cola, all right, the whole soft drink is about $20 billion. So 1% means $200 million. Don't say that's not a lot, all right? So in a $20 billion business, 3% that will be generate about $600 million of business. So everybody try to have a new Coke, old Coke, whatever that coming up. So what I'm saying is 3% still make a lot of sense. And later on, if you really company getting bigger and bigger, then yes, you can withdraw. All right. So again, let's go back to why you really want to be in the future. But keeping a product, keeping a problem child have a drawback. Need to repeat again. Keeping a problem child have a drawback. Meaning what? Keeping a problem child has a drawback. Meaning what? What's the major drawback of keeping a problem child? Or keeping a barking dog? There's a drawback. First one, what? You know my question here? Keeping a barking dog. We have a dog, right? We have 4 of that. Keeping a barking dog. Because it's not a dead dog yet. It's a barking dog. Either keeping a barking dog or keeping a problem child have some drawback. What kind of drawback? What the major drawback you might have? What the major disadvantage of keeping a problem child or the barking dog is what? Spend money on it. Everybody spend money. So what? Give me more specific. Yeah. Explain that in terms of strategy terms, all right? So what? Yeah, I know that. I know what you want to get, but tell me more in a professional terms. So it means what? I know spend money. Yeah, everybody spend money. So what? Give me more precise answer. Again, keeping a problem child or keeping a You got to keeping a product which is not very sound. That would be what? What kind of disadvantage of keeping a product like that? Or what? Yes, that's what I want to hear. I'm spending money, yes, but I don't have that much money. And the question now go back to that, whether I will divert my resource to the one that is not healthy. So this is, again, this goes back to your whole vision about the future, that what you should do. All right, this is your roadmap. You should have that in your mind. I cannot tell you the answer, but you have to judge that. So the whole idea is to judge that how much I can sacrifice, how much I can do that. So that's your decision. In fact, most companies facing the same decision. All right. So they start a price war in the dog. All right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This always happens in Taiwan. All right. All the companies dealing with that all the time. All right. So for instance, IBM give up PC. All right. HP might want to give up PC as well. So HP want to buy 3Com, for instance. They don't think PC is make money, so they want to move to PDA or maybe to the phone. All right. So even though that's a good product, but it's not making money, so company had to make a decision right now, in order to do that. All right. So yes. So that's why I said that again. Go back to my first questions. Why competitor want to do it?
They're protecting it, I think.
Okay, that's for sure. All right. So what else? What kind of signal he's sending out? Yeah, so that's why I say you want to keep in there or not. I mean,
keeping our net contribution low.
I know that. All right. So there are a couple of things that you have to make a decision. I say that. First, understand what the market is going to move, especially that particular segment. Second one, where you want to be in the next 3 steps. And again, this is we have to play a period of game here. All right. So in the next 6 period, where you want to be? You don't have to be a niche, or you don't have to be what? And what happens if competitor will do again? And so if I keep that, what will happen to me? If I don't keep it, what will happen to me? All right? And again, so that's why I go back to the first long time ago, we're talking about that. So you have to either let the market settle, but we don't know that yet. Again, so that's a very important decision right now. Either make the market settle, but we still don't know when that will settle, all right? The same as right now. In the whole world right now, in the high-tech company right now, they don't know whether the market will go to PC, go to PDA, go to handphone, and they don't know what to do because there's no clear product, there's no clear star there yet. So company make all the bet there. So everybody have a different decision in that. I did not tell you the answer, but anyway, so that's what happened. That's exactly what happened right now. All right. Okay. Okay, so there are 3 things here. One is the labor or shortage. Second one is the market share. Third one is promotion. So we're talking about 3 things jump together here, all right? We allow the product. Let me just forget about the product. Let me just tell you in general the overall. We will tell you that more in the advertising, all right? In general, there's a rule. This is called advertising or promotional share. Sometimes we call it share of voice. So share of voice equal to my budget versus my plus all others. So share of voice means that my voice divided by mine plus all others. Now it's difficult to define all others. So let me define that we need the same segment. All right. So these are called share of voice, and this study has been done for more than 1,000 products in the whole world. They found that very interesting. There's a line there. There's a line there that advertising share almost equal to market share. Now, this is not precise right, all right? Roughly. So in other words, But unfortunately, so let me say 1, 2, 3, and then like 10%, all right? Then -1 and -2, -10. And this is 0. And very interesting, the curve look like this, all right? What I try to do here is, did I draw it right or wrong? Okay. Okay, this is correct. So this is market share. This is share of voice. All right. Let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it is. Do very complicated. It's not complicated. All right. Suppose I am Marlboro cigarette. I got 35% of market share. Guess what is their advertising budget share? 35, more 35 or less than 35? Let me repeat again my question again. I'm a leader right now. I'm in Marlboro. I have 35% of market share. So go back to real life. Is his advertising share higher or lower than 35? Should be higher or lower? Now, I'm a new product, such as Kent, Pomo, Kenmo. I only have 2% of market share. Market share. What is my share of voice? Is that higher or lower than 2% in general? Higher than 2%. Okay? So back to the Marlboro's case. Answer is lower. Now this phenomenon called 有钱人的钱比较值钱。有钱人的钱比较值钱。Rich man's money is worth more, unfortunately, which made a big company bigger and bigger and bigger. And the reality is, it happened to be that this is 14%. If I have 35% in Fed, I don't need to spend 35%. Somewhere here is 9%. So suppose I have 35% of market share here in Fed. I only spend about what? I spend only 25% of market share. I can maintain my 35%. Now, if I'm a small guy here, I got 2% here. I got 2% of market share. You can see that. 2%, I need to spend about 9% in order to survive. So unfortunately, this is a plus. In other words, the 2% small guy need to spend here, I think roughly about 9%. 9% of share of voice in order to maintain 2% of market share. So this is an unfair game in real life that even though it's true, attaching shares, so roughly the first benchmark is, well, roughly share of voice is equal to attaching share. But in real life, I say in real life, it happened to be that the bigger or the market leader in general, they enjoy the market and they don't have to spend so much money. And that's why I said that the bigger one getting stronger and stronger. Now, this phenomena is called what? In other words, a longer history, if they did not make nothing wrong, a longer or better well-known product in general, they spend less money on advertising. They can still maintain a high market share. This phenomena is called what? This is called carryover effect. Carryover means that you can see that the big brand, they spend so much money there already in the last 50 years, right? And all these are equity. We talk about today, all right? In other words, they spend so much money on the product already. And they are already in consumers' mind. So they don't have to spend that much money. But for a new guy, unfortunately, you are too new here. No one knows what's going on here. So did I tell you the answer? Still not. My gosh. Did I tell you the answer already here? So the answer here is, right now the market is saturated. The big guy want to cut the price, at the same time increase the market expenses. All right? So what can you do? I think that's the question.
Well, we're spending twice as much as them on...
When you say twice, be very clear what I mean by twice. Twice based on the ratio, or twice based on the ratio, or twice based on the volume. That's totally different. Twice based on ratio means that check your market share, check advertising share, and whether, suppose I got 2% of market share, I spend 4% of the advertising share. That's totally different from this guy already spent 1 million, I will spend 2 million. No, you cannot afford to spend 2 million, twice of the volume. You can spend, like I say here, you can spend the ratio, 2% of the double of the ratio, rather than double of the absolute amount. That's totally different. All right, so be very careful when you say twice. What do you mean by twice? Twice of what? There are many different pricing strategies. We discussed that before. So one pricing strategy is look at the product I have, the cost I have. All right, that's what we call cost accounting process. Other one is consumer, they don't care. They don't give a damn, whatever your product is. So I look at the market price instead. I look at the market offer. So there are two different tracks to decide the price, because the price later on, whatever expenses you have will bear into my expenses, will increase my price later on. All right? So what I try to tell you right is that if you base on the shortage of the product, meaning that, yes, I have better product. All right? Consumer might not buy it. Be very careful. Let me repeat again, all right? Because under that segment, remember under that segment, even though you high 3 or 4 shortage, consumer don't care. Go back to my picture there. These are 60, 56 here. Somewhere here, the range is somewhere here. And you say that I have better one. Yeah, maybe, but consumer, let me give you another analogy. Let me give you another analogy, okay? Listen carefully. I just went through the AMD and Intel case. And AMD has 64, the new server coming up, so a lot powerful than Intel. Intel still remains in the 32 era now, but still, suppose Intel there are 4 situations, okay? AMD right now come out a huge, excellent product called 64, all right? So excellent product, I call this one, they get 90, grade is 90. 4 situation. Intel right now cannot do it. Intel only make about 88, all right? And what they can do, in fact, they are even worse. They only about 81, 80 so far. And Intel can be 91. What I try to say is, there are 4 situations here. This is AMD 90. So there are 4 possibilities of Intel. Intel make a little bit better product, equal product, not too good product, and then very lousy product. Now, let me ask you that. If Intel make, and again, you know that Intel is 80% of the market share, AMD is 20% of the market share. Now, listen carefully. If Intel make 91% of the grade of the product, will consumer buy or not? Let me repeat again. We got 80 and 20 here, all right? If Intel, yes, come by a little bit slightly better product, will consumer buy or not? Yes. Intel make same equal product, will consumer buy or not? Yes. Intel make less but still workable product, will consumer buy or not? Still yes. Right? Still yes. Only if this guy make very lousy product, cannot run, overheat, and then consume energy, or maybe 70. So 80, that's still tolerable, right? And then go to 75, okay, forget about that. Did that give you the idea of what happened to the real life? That's what we're talking about, market power, market share. And this is why everybody fighting for big market share. Once you have a market share, you're dominant in a particular segment, you really can do a lot. That's why we say that this learning curve, everything coming up, because I accumulate all that, and as a market leader, you can see that as a market leader, I don't spend that much money on that. Small guys struggling. Meanwhile, I don't have a good product. All right? This go back to my phenomenon I'm talking about here. I don't have a good product, I still sell. And we know that, like Microsoft, lousy system. IBM, lousy computer. All right? We know all that. All right? Look at all the leaders. Come on, they don't have good product. But they are still market leader. So that's why I go back to that. So you're using strategy. You are 过劳死, all right? You are really product oriented. You said, okay, I have better product. I should sell better. No. The market don't think that way. And we don't know why. Don't ask me why. All right? We're going to tell that today about the branding, all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the phenomena happening.
Like the opposite is C. Someone's spending much more than us, but we're still selling more.
Yes. It's just that, the competitor coming and try to keep cutting price, whatever they're doing, all that. But still, market share increase. So that's what market is. I'm trying to do here, all right? So if you have an next period budget, I check that, all right? Roughly average about 45K. Some of you already perform 60K. Wow, that's amazing, okay? If your next period budget is over than 6,000 or something like that, you pray excellent. If you are still struggling in 35, you have trouble, all right? So we got two range here. I think the average about 47, something like that, next period. If you still like period one, still survival in the 36, 35, you have trouble. Some already shoot to 6,000 already. Amazing, all right? I look at that, summary. So I can see the whole strategy is going on right now. And this phenomena, I call this one butterfly effect, all right? So be very careful, all right? I let you get a feeling of what better butterfly effect is, okay? And that will appear in your game. So right now, it's very crucial for you to make your next move. And that will determine your destination or your company. I call this butterfly effect. You know butterfly effect, right? Can be shoot, can be down, all right? So the butterfly not even fly, they already die, all right? But not the butterfly. I think it's an effect of that will carry over later on. So right now, you have to have your own vision of what next game going to be. Interesting game, right? Is that fun to do? Should be fun to do. I hope you learn a lot. I do hope you learn a lot to combine everything together. Marketing, finance, R&D, and manufacturing, everything together. And you're the thing like a marketer. You're the thing like a marketer, not the accountant or financer, all right? Think like a marketer to see what is that. I think that's the whole purpose of the game. No question. Okay, and then good luck. Okay. And different industry, all right. So you don't have to copy other people, right? Because different industry already have different phenomena happen. Some have 3 products, some have 1, some is growing very fast, some is slow down, and some already die, and some have 2 products, 4 products. Oh my gosh! So it's amazing, you know. Right now, whatever you guys play is amazingly, all right? All kinds of variety, all right. So I don't know what happened, all right. Don't ask me, all right. Okay. Okay, let me go back to. We will have this one next week. And for the GMBA student, next year in the summer, we have the internship program. That's a required course. So I prepare 1 semester ahead. We have to do it now, all right? So the whole idea of the festival, whatever, is help you to have the job in the summer, okay? Anyway, so this is the. And we're going to have, we will ask the student from, let me see, Tinus and Romeo will come to explain. I will explain that to other outsiders, if someone from the campus. We're going to do it. We're going to host that. So, and then at the same time, I think there's somewhere here. I don't know when is that. We are a headhunter. They will come here and then they will ask. They will help you how to write a resume. So please attend. All right. We will lecture in English. So they will just tell you how to prepare your resume. Okay, so this is we're going on next week. And anyway, so this is the first time we go join with that. And just introduce you very quick of some of the institute we have cooperate with. One is ISEC, and some of you know that. ISEC is not really helpful, according to some students, but I think still, I don't know. It's for undergraduate, right? And last year they don't generate enough of the job for us. But still, you can rely on that. We have students went to the North Africa. We have a student, all that. All right, so can still work. All right, so I will push that even harder. And right now, because right now the economic right now is not very good, so therefore they really cannot do too much because unfortunately this is correct. All right. Anyway, so we can still will invite the ISEC come, and then to tell you that what they can do for us. I also have some budget. I also have some budget. You can go here, all right? I will sponsor that for you. And the Boys State will have 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and 8 weeks program, all right? So you can join 8 weeks program. And what they do is more like, I don't know, it's not suitable for us because maybe suitable for a student from Taipei, but again, you cannot get the money, all right? I don't know. We have very strict rule here. All right? Anyway, what I try to say here is, Boys State did provide an internship program there, but they charge very high. I think about 100,000, but I can subsidize about 6. They charge 10万块嘛, 100,000. I can subsidize about 60,000. All right. So we have 5 vacancies there. I think we have 5 vacancies. I get the money from the. Some money from that anyway. So if you want to go there, let me know in detail. All right, so we can you can apply for that. So I think I have 5 positions for that next year. We have to spend the money. All right, so you have to go. All right, if not, I have to get the money back to Ministry of Education. 2 things. I think 3 things there. If you never been in USA, understand their living style, understand all that. All right. So they will live somewhere on the campus. Second one, there's a program for English, and the weekend they bring show you around for the whole area. So it's more sightseeing. Okay. Third one, you will visit the company, and the company is not. So it's an internship. The company is not really download you the job to do. I think they're just visiting whatever that. I don't know that part. That's why I'm worried, right? And I don't know how deep you can learn from that. I don't know that part. So I tried to initiate that last year, but I did not get the money. But this year we have the money. Anyway, so there are 3 things. So you can living and whatever. I don't relax. I don't relax. So 8 weeks. So I think the reason is USA quite expensive right now. That's it. So we can have some kind of internship, company visit, and I don't know What the hell is spoiled state? Only potato, right? I don't know. I don't know what do they have. All right, but anyway, they claim that they have a lot of high-tech company. I don't know that anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I try to visit them, but I don't have time to visit them. I can visit them and to see really detail that. Anyway, so we need about 5 or 6 students in order to make a trip work. All right. Okay. Anyway, I just want you to put in mind. All right. For those of you, then you can apply for that. Nice place, river, and this is a campus. Okay. So you can go there as a team. You can go there, all right? For the IBM student, I really don't know that. You have to check with the Vanessa about that, all right? So about whether you are qualified to do it or not, all right? For the international student, we will try to cooperate with the Spring Foundation, and this year they will push even further. All right, last year we get some of the positions. So this year, if you want to international student, not Taiwanese student, for international student, if you want to work in Taiwan, especially in Science Park, I think the Professor Zhou, I think he's the CEO of that. He will try to allocate you to that. And we do some very successful example last year, you know. We a couple of very excellent. Right now, I think the Taiwanese company want to go to Eastern Europe, Latin America. They want to go to that. So we do really that. If you can speak Russian, for instance, would be very helpful, right? If you can speak Spanish, so it can be helpful, right? So you can be some of that. So these are the idea of that, okay? All right. I skipped that, but I think I had to take this chapter back. We're talking about the chapter 9, only chapter 9 today. An important topic, but it's not easy topic, all right? It's called brand equity, all right? That's what chapter 9 is about. So we already go through new product line, services, pricing, and right now, you know, that's called the brand equity. Now, I try to put down the Chinese name here, right? It's so difficult to interpret. What is that? Someone tell me that in English, I don't know what equity really means. So it can be assets, can be specific right, and ownership, all right? So what's the equity? All right. Value, all right? Interesting, all right? What's the definition of equity? Value, all right? What else? How much do you have? It's value, all right? What else? See, there's a bit difficult one, all right? So they got all kinds of definition here. Can be asset, can be ownership, and can be some kind of specific right to claim that this is my territory. All right, so and that's exactly what this chapter is about. It's uneasy to understand, but very difficult subject, all right? Let's look at that. And again, so marketing is important in branding, you know that. So this particular one talking about the branding. And what's the brand equity, and the trouble is how to measure that, how to manage that, and so on, all right? And what are the decisions in order to do that? And this is the whole semester's course called Strategic Brand Management. And the author, in fact, is one of our co-author of this book. Is Kevin Keller. So he's the one teaching the whole semester's course. Anyway, we offer that in the Xinsu as well. So if you want to do the branding management, I think that's the course to take. And anyway, so let me just tell you really quick. Identify, establish brand positioning, implement branding, measure, interpret. All right. So anyway, this guy tried to summarize the whole book into this chapter. All right. So I just tell you that what this chapter is about. So there's a procedure to do that. They call it brand scorecard. All right. These are brand management, strategic brand management. Branding. I think one of the most astonished brand name is Google. In the last 6 years, unbelievable. So do you know how much the Google worth right now, the brand value? A lot. I know a lot. I know a lot. Higher than GM, Ford, BMW, IBM combined. higher than all these big companies combined together. You won't believe that. Really, brand value and stock value. All right. So you can see that, you know, some of the so-called manufacturing, you know, like IBM, you know, you say, oh, that's big. No, not big at all. All right. And then and so on. So anyway, so this amazing how that create a product, and very interesting. I think they keep moving. They keep moving. This brand will keep moving. All right. So this is amazing. The brand name copy created in the last only 6 years. So they will move to. Most of you know that, right? So Google will move to the Earth, Google Earth, move to the hardware, and so on. So if you look at this week's news about what Google was going to do, they want to create a new platform. The platform called Android. We said that before. They will create a new OS system, and they will have another 20 new products coming out next 3 years. These 20 new products, including, so they will revolution the whole computer world. They will revolutionize computer and telephone. Amazing. And this is very important part of branding. All right. So they start from Google because something is coming up, and we expect they are coming up. So it's still growing, very powerful, still growing company right now. Anyway, so let's start from this one. Now, so what can the brand do? All right. Let me just read that very quick. Identify the maker. They know who you are. Simplify product handling. What it means is when you go shopping, you take the product. You don't have to think. It just grabs that. Organize accounting. You know, you can so many different brands, so that we can organize that. Offer legal protection, very important. But this one might not work in China. All right, they don't care. But anyway, that's the important part, but also anyway, so simplify quality, create barrier to entry, serve a competitive advantage, and the last one is very important, secure price premium. And I always say that there's a rule for that. So these are called branding. And in fact, I have a question for the one of my class. We have so many products in Taiwan claim they are brands. 他们称他们是品牌或是名牌。All right. In fact, to me, they are all 杂牌. No, think carefully. Look at all global pricing. If you cannot claim 20 to 25% of the premium price, you are not the brand at all. You are just a price war creator, in fact. So this is my way of that. So a very different mentality behind that. Now, I don't know whether you know all that or not. Orange is what? Don't know. I think telecom company, right? How about this one? I don't know. Lec11, Skype, Watch, I really don't know what it is. HNV, you know that, right? Reibu. These are all the new ones coming out, according to the book, Yahoo and so on. Although new product coming up, keep coming up. Do you know all this? KLM, you know that, right? Airline company. Peach, I don't know this one. Rom Pizza, I don't know what it is. Wi-Fi. CNA, that's the old one. Polar Gray. Anyway, so these are just give you a whole bunch of the keep new branding coming up in all the year, all the time. All right. Even a department store can be a brand name. So when you go there, you trust them, even though they charge higher. That's my whole point, all right? Even though they charge high, still you trust it, all right? So these are the so-called brand name here. Do you know where is that? I visited there once. It's in Virginia, Williamsburg. They reserve all the historical living style. So back to 300 years ago, before the Civil War, in fact. So we a couple of the cities like Williamsburg in North Carolina is Salem, Winston-Salem, somewhere in a small town there. Very interesting.
I've seen commercials for it all the time.
All right, all right. And that's one of my point here. All right, even a place like that can be a branding. Can be a branding. It's amazing how they keep that. And if you go there, it was amazing. Everybody just wear like that, you know. And very interesting. When you, I don't know, when I was in my let me see, junior high, 初中，你们有没有背过林肯的诗？林肯的那个 speech，President Lincoln talking about the liberal the human right. I think we memorized that when I was, and the same, you memorize all this whatever the speech or that. Very short one about that. All right, so very interesting. You know what they do there is just like that. All right, they just go there, start from that. And do the speech, and everybody there listen, and all that, all the kids there. All right. Anyway, so just show you the picture there. Very old city, yes, indeed. And if you this is the post office, you can buy the stamp there. All right, it was amazing. People still wear that. All right. Anyway, so what I try to say here is even the place like that can be a branding. Can be a branding. All right. So how do you determine that? And again, this is a process. You know, how much do you know your words, and whether you're going to client or not. All right, and how much do you know that, and how can I keep doing that? All right. So for the weddings, it will be interesting. You know, how many people visit there, what's their income, and so on. And it's interesting. Walmart, Kmart tried to go there, but was rejected. Let me repeat again. Walmart tried to establish in the whole area in Virginia, but was rejected. Why? Because once Walmart is there, all the small store will die. All the small store, like candle shop, like biscuit shop, coffee shop, will all die. So in fact, they want to reserve the culture there. They are not welcome Walmart and Kmart to go there. So if you go there, you really go to a very, I don't know, go to historical site. That's 300 years old, and everything is so old, right? So they want to keep that. They want to keep this store out. So yes, that's how they build up this one. So what's brand equity? Added value. Added value here, all right? So they talk about valuable, all right? Endowed on product and services, which may be referred in the way consumers think, feel, and act with respect to the brand. It's difficult to explain that. You know what you mean by equity, okay? Anyway, so I just try to interpret it in Chinese. Anyway, so you can look at that. Do you know where is that? I live in Singapore, all right? So you don't know where is that, all right? Again, another very expensive place, huh? Yes, very good. Referrals. Referral, I don't know how to pronounce that, all right? Anyway, so yes, that's 来福士 referrals. So you know what the referrals is? That's another example in same as Williamsburg. I think referral is a name, all right? So when they visit there, so they establish the hotel, so everything that refers expensive. So they're using this name as a name. So all the hotel, everything are so expensive. So refers, 来福士 anyway. You know where is that? I think Dubai, I guess. Anyway, so people start trying to create the so-called brand equity as a brand name and start from nothing, all right, in fact. So these are just example to show that what the brand equity is. Second one is brand promise. Again, promise is a marketer's vision of what the brand must be and do for consumer. Very interesting. It's a vision. And what's the vision? Right? Same as your game, right? Imagine that, right? So what you want to do? What your product? Even though we don't have a brand in our game, but what you promise to do? You know what I want to give out to my specific one. Okay, so that's a motorcycle and a bank. Now, what I try to example here is, especially right now in the recession, what can a bank promise? We have all kinds of banks now in the last 1 or 2 years. A lot of banks out and in, right? So what's the bank's most important promise? Don't get bankruptcy, right? I need all my money back, all right? In fact, a lot of companies cannot do that. Even a lot of companies still have trouble to do that. The AIG and Citibank, and they all have trouble, all right? But anyway, these are the promise, all right? Especially right now in this kind of, this is Japan or Taiwan. Do we promise anything? GMBA program, do we promise anything? All right? Why you are here, huh? So anyway, so these are the same. These are the same. We try to have all the program, try to have all that, and hopefully when you graduate, you can get something from that. All right? So these are the same. All right? These are the promise of that. Now, advantage of strong brands. All right? Great loyalty. All right? That's very important. Right? I think all these are, that. So just elaborate. Larger margin. All right? Now, what do you mean by inelastic? See here, that's more related to your game. Inelastic consumer response to the price increase. Elastic to consumer response to the price decrease. All right? Greater trade cooperation, increased effectiveness. All right? Now, what I try to tell you that is the same I had a comment last time. It was 3 different products, but remember that their brand equity are totally different. Their brand equity are totally different. And you have to watch all this carefully to see which one in fact is a valuable product. All right? And which one command higher price. In fact, they are all different. And that will help you to make a decision. What is that? For instance, price cut, what will happen? Greater margin, trade cooperation. In other words, you open a new channel and you were surprised. You sell very fast. All right? In your game, you open a new channel, internet channel, you sell very fast. All these are the powerful of that, okay? And that sense opportunity brings an opportunity of that. Right? Even though our game is B2B, but still you can get a feeling of that in your game. 潇洒我讲大波啊 These are the ones that who try to get the iPhone or iPad, whatever that. In New York, talking about last year, in New York, people wait there for 1 day or 2 days and on the line and get the first iPhone, and they are crazy. They are pretty happy. Very interesting, all right? These are really about what the new product is. This is the guy who get the first phone, all right? Get iPhone, I think. Theoretically, I think we said that before. Branding is differentiation, but it's more than that. It's more brand differentiation, all right? So when we differentiate, you can see that it's a price, it's a demand. When you differentiate, your demand is higher. But branding has this effect. Now, why is that? Look at that. If these are the homogeneous product, you can see that if the brand cut the price, what happened to the sales? They're even more. That the differentiated product, if I cut the price, the demand is even more. Now, if I increase the price, what happened? You can see that if I increase my price, and this one, the demand will decline for this product, but anyway, it's still there. So how the branding do is, you can see these 2 big areas here. That it can have higher profit, higher margin. So they can resist to the price cut, the price increase. I think that's the whole point about the branding, okay? I don't know whether you figure out yourself that what is your product in there. I don't know. Did any guy try to start to do Excel file to calculate whatever you have? Excel file, important, okay? Put all the number into Excel file and try to change the price change ratios and look at all that. You're going to amazing, all right? They are all different, all right? So you're going to see you make a lot of wrong decisions later on, all right? Anyway. Okay, anyway, so these are just, I try to tell you that these are exactly happen, also can be happen in the game. All right, let me finish this one, all right? We have a short chapter, don't worry, all right? Brand equity model. Trevor just asked, how can I define the equity? So they do a lot of model here. So there are 4 different models, all right? Let's look at that, and they all have different ones. And again, brand equity is so difficult to define, right? The first one, brand as valuator. This is one promoted by, let me see, what's the company? Suddenly forget. Anyone read the book? Written by a consulting company. There are two consulting companies anyway. So BAV and brands, and then the professor, and then again resonance. All right, let's look at that. These are from this BAV company. Let me do that. All right. First one, look at that. Energize differentiation. In fact, they got 5 periods. Right now they changed it to 1. Differentiation. So the first one is you should be differentiated from other people. So you some kind of technology, some kind of something new, whatever that value created for the consumer. Relevance. That particular differentiation should relate to me, to the consumer. Relevance. These two altogether they call strengths. So how strong your brand is really depends on how different from other people and whether that related to the consumer. This is what we said about in our positioning already there. 异中求异，同中求同，同中求异，异中求同。What is that? We said about that before, long before. 同中求异，异中求同。In English, what is that? We said that before already. In other words, we try to separate from the parity of different from other people and similarity from other people. So these two are the thing here. All right. After you have that, you get an esteem. Esteem means that how consumers respect your product. They know, oh, this is a good product. They give it a value of that. Later on, knowledge it. Knowledge obviously means that this is the whole idea. So we know the product so well. We know the product so well, and we can love the product. All right, they call it brand structure. All right. Now this book gives you an example of that one. And let's look at this part. Sorry, not very big. Eroding. Eroding means that you can see that. Let's look at this one first. New and unfocused. You can see that this is new and unfocused. Right? So all the products start from that. Consumers don't know much about you. Later on, you start to have that. You can see niche and realized potential. We start to differentiate. This one still start to pile up. And move on there. Most of the leadership company, consumer know its relevance, consumer know this is esteem, consumer have a full knowledge. And eroding is start from here. All right? So these are the example that I use this example to interpret the difference between Samsung and Sony. So Sony, in fact, unfortunately, is a declined one. Samsung is moving up. All right, so you can look at all these, look at the different of this power behind that. Anyway, so niche here, IKEA. Now leadership like Disney, Hallmark, 7-Up, Subway, and decline like Kmart. If you're in USA, you know what I'm talking about here. Burger King. All right, eroding like Frisky, Northwest Airline. These are all the old product. And the new one coming up, the Air France, Benson Hedge, it is a cigarette, and so on. Anyway, so this one is this company, consulting company. They try to help the company to see whether your brand equity is increasing or declining or eroding. All right, in order to help the company. That's one of the first model. And Google obviously moved so quick. All right, suddenly Google just from that in such a short period of time. And you're talking about eBay, how they come about that. They take a long way to go, and then finally they go to this stage. So this is the way they look at how the different brands have different equity behind that. This one, another one called brands model. Brands. So start from the weak to the strong. Presents means who you are. Do I know you? Sorry, in Chinese. Relevance, again, very similar to that one. Now, why do I care? How do I care about your difference? And move to performance, is that workable or not? And what kind of advantage can I have? And then last one is the bonding. This is quite interesting. This is the more like the relationship we discussed before. All right? So I call this one night stand. And move to what? We have 4 stages here. Our relationship with our customer start from one night stand. 一夜情。听不懂我在说什么。好。Then move on to the next stage. It's cohabitation. 我们叫做同居。Cohabitation. Later on, move to get married because we know that so well. Get married. And the last one is honeymoon forever. You know what I'm saying here? Honeymoon forever. So these are more relationships we try to create. We are not just start from know each other. We move on and move on and move on. All right. So we are relationship kind of movement. And these are the. So they start from this one. Okay. And again, there's a whole bunch of product and brands. They have all kinds of. These are consulting company. Again, anyway. So they try to tell you how the brand will do. So intangible earnings, contribution, and then brand multiples. All right. So these are the way of that. And again, they have very interesting. They try to calculate what's the value of the Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and Cartier, and so on. Okay, these are all the fashion goods, and about their value. All right. So these are the one. You can see most of the very famous product, most expensive product in the world, right? LV, they have Hennessy, Moet Chandon, Fendi, all belong to that. Anyway, so these are the how to do this value of the brands. Aker is a professor from UC Berkeley. And this guy has another one. All right? And all his theory based on a term called identity. So he starts from identity. In other words, in which start from the big word, right? So you know the product, then you core identity element, extend identity. So everything starts from identity. Then we had brand essence. Anyway, that's the whole story about that. I did publish a paper related to that, using this whole paper. And my paper is working on, in Taiwan, for instance, we have a lot of B2B product. Can we move from B2B to B2C? So I'm looking at the whole system. You know, we have so many famous products in B2B, like Quanta, Guangda, like Foxconn, Honghai, and so on. How can I move from here to B2C? And very interesting, I think the successful story in Korea is Samsung. They already did. Samsung already moved from B2B to B2C. A lot of companies in Taiwan still struggling, all right? And the question is, what's the brand name? How can we do? And so on. So these are the sort of my whole theory, based on this theory, try to move on. How can we do that? So the whole idea is how do the consumer believe that or not? Do the company believe Qantas can be a brand name later on? Do the company believe Acer, Asus can be a global brand? All right. So these are the study. Last one is resonance. All right, Chinese called 共鸣. If you look carefully, because brand equity is a whole process. Some focus on the initial stage, some focus on the last stage. You can see that's why it's so difficult to define. And this one very similar to that one. All right, you can see here, similar to that one. Who are you? What are you? What about you? And so on. And what about me? All right, so these people have all kinds of models try to interpret, try to define what brand equity is. And they're based on the last one. So we start from, again, go back to my relationship. We start from don't know nothing, gradually move up, and later on to, we call it honeymoon forever, all right? So we try to get to the consumer to know that, and we push all that to achieve that. We still have a lot of questions here about the game, all right? So let me, let me just start from very basic, all right? Start from very basic. Question mark, star, cash cow, and a dog, all right? This dimension is growth rate. So high growth, low growth. This dimension we call it relative market share. Suppose I have market share 5, the leader is 40. So you put it together, you can see that the other guy 40 by 5. This guy has 8 power of that. Now, if I have 20% of market share, The other guy is 40, only 2. So these are called relative. It's not the, so relative compared to the market leader, we call it relative market share. Again, high and low. And very quickly, cash cow means that the market is not growing, but I had a good market share. Oh, now let's go back to these 2 questions here. Question mark and the dog. Question mark here means that high growth rate, the market is growing, I have low market share. And the dog for sure is low market share and low growth rate. So this back to the questions that the difference between dog and the problem child, how can you tell that from your financial report? So both will be negative. Both will be negative. Now, so read carefully. The sales of that, so what I mean, the accounting of financial report, they are the same. They are all negative. What can I do? All right? So they are different. There are subtle difference in the financial statement. What are the most crucial items for the financial report that can tell you the difference between the dog and the problem child? In the financial statement, what are the difference of these 2? In your financial statement, what are the items can tell you that this is really the difference between dog and problem child? How can you tell from the financial statement we have all the same item here? Which item are most crucial to tell that they are the difference between problem child and cash cow? When I receive, what I try to say here, we get a financial report, the bottom line is the same, they are negative. But they do different, in fact. So that's a decision. So in general, what are the indicators tell me that this might be a dog, this might be a problem child? So what are these indicators? Did you learn that? What are the indicators in the financial statement? This is very important, in fact. So you will tell from that in order to make your next decision. So both are not making money. Both are not making money, but one is star, one is not star. How can we make that from the financial statement? What are possible indicators can tell you that? Growth rate of revenue. Okay. So growth rate of revenue you see here. Okay. Yes, that's one. What else? That's your question, in fact. That's really your questions. Both are losing money, but what can I do? All right, so they got a whole bunch of information can tell you that this is really a dog. This really a problem child. That's first questions. Second questions, the rate in indirect. Now, we student says that I put all my money to indirect. But listen carefully, all right? I have very high ticket expensive product. I put all my resource to indirect. Now, what will happen? But why this still wrong? You know what I mean? Yeah, he still put money there. Okay, all right. So when you make a move already wrong because we are very expensive item, volume is not essential. So the quality of the service is even more important than volume. So if I want to drive my unit sales, then yes, channel is workable. So this also go back to here. This all go back to here. All right. So if I want to drive my production level, yes, I need to send to channel agency to help me. If not, the product is so expensive. You better not do it. And this send out the market signal. Once you start to cut the price of your product, you ask Walmart and Kmart or whatever that agency to help you to sell the product. What kind of signal you send to the market? Let me repeat again. I have very expensive supercomputer from IBM. I asked Walmart and Kmart, help me to sell the product. What is the signal here? To the market. You are dying. You even cannot handle your product. How can you ask whatever people do that, how can you ask the supercomputer, ask Kmart and Walmart to help you to sell that? For PC, for handphone, it's okay, but not for the supercomputer. You already against the rule here. And what I mean, we will tell you more about the channel. Channel are driving the unit one. Now, the question is, how can I want to change that back? That was even worse. Why? Let me again, all right? Let me tell you that. Like a high product segment here, I put all my resource to indirect. And I say, oh, it won't work, all right? That's putting that back. That was even worse. Why? In real life, why? I tried once. I asked Walmart to help me to do it, all right? I cut the price, I put all that, and it won't work. All right, I take it back. So what's the signal to the market? Just imagine copy the real life, Cannot work. Even worse. Even worse. All right, and channel take away a long time. Channel take 1 or 2 stages to settle down. Because channel they need some time to do the distribution. In real life, the same, all right? Once you sign agreement with the channel, you give them 1 period to set up, another period help to sell that. So if you make your first decision, I want the channel to do it, you have to give the channel 1 or 2 period of time to make the sales to pick up. That's real life. That's real life, all right? So and then you say, oh, okay, sorry, you did not say very well, all right? Sorry, we cut the contract. I take everything back. You're even worse. You hurt both. You hurt channel. You hurt your reputation. That's the second question. Third one. Now, what is the vision? Where is that vision coming from? I always ask you, where is that vision coming from? How do I know which one to do? And what can I do? All right. So you have to put everything together. All right. What step by step. All right. Very easy. All right. Don't make it things too complicated. Right? Step by step. First one, again, look at the bigger decision here. All right. Second one, look at direct indirect. All right. Now, but before that, you still have to go back to look at the whole forecasting. By the way, is the forecasting accurate or not? Yes or no? Are you sure? No? All right, so I said focusing only for reference. And Joseph asked one very good question, all right? Now, all the data always have 2 lines. This is real life. This is the trend. So when you get the data, you really get the data first. All right. So you have to see that data in another line there. These are we call it mega trend. These are called mega trend. Now it's not easy to see. Most people living in this world, not a mega trend. Now the question is, as I said that, we will cut this in your game. All right, so what will happen is this. Interesting, there are 2 lines here again. All right, in this particular period, I cut my price, or competitor cut the price. Suddenly, the market zoom. But you read carefully, because the trend is here. You're going to see that they will go back. So there's a long-term and short-term effect. I'll try to explain that. So in other words, Yes, they do have a short-term effect. Short-term here meaning that. But there's also a long-term effect because the market cannot sustain that. The market is growing, yes. So the market growing 8%. Now, your company growing 20%. But market will go back to 8% again because, you take all the sales out. Just the example about Walmart, right? They cut the price. But the market is here. In Raleigh, only 1 million people there. They buy everything out. So what can they do? Next period, they won't buy anything. They will go back. And that's why the most trouble of the people when they read the data. They don't know what to do. They say, oh, okay, now sales up. So my next period will also up. No. Maybe not. We don't know that. So they are pretty complicated here, right? So in other words, if I cut the price here, it's up, all right? And then I expect that will up. But what I'm saying is not necessarily true. This up depends on, again, go back to this trend here. Did I interpret that enough? So when you read the data, you're very careful. Everything, in fact, is not just straightforward that this segment is whatever that. So to some extent, yes, the forecasting is correct or not correct. It really all depends on, so you should know the market well, how good you are, how good the competitor is, and you put all that together in order to see what the future will be. And this feature also depends on suddenly a crazy guy cut a price, crazy price, all right? And so on, all right? So these are really happening in real life. That someone really cut a price, and he should not cut a price. But anyway, he cut a price already. What can I do, all right? So you have to see what will happen to the next period in order to make the decision. And what I try to tell you that is, except these two lines, all the decision count. Whatever we decision do will influence the future of the happen. These are called evolution. I call this market evolution. In other words, you know what I mean? So suddenly we have a window there, we can go there, but the market already changed. So I make a wrong mistake last time, and the market changed to another direction. It's out of my control. So these are really difficult part of the marketing, in other words. So it's keep evolving and then to keep all that, and that will change. So whatever happened should be a cash cow segment. Turn out to be a killing fear, so you'll die. All these are possible. And again, you look at another competitor's point of view. Why this guy want to do that? What happened to that segment? All right? All these are the questions that you have to consider when you make your next decision. Okay? Is that better? So that's what happened to Walmart. Yes, so Walmart, I said that. Walmart in the long term, in the short term, Walmart do the so-called Black Friday every week. Oh my gosh. So suppose this increased rate, this increase up and down percent is about 5% of the whole market. Up and down, or 5% of my market. Now, I'm the market leader. I don't care. 5% relative to my 50%, only 10%. But if I'm a small guy, 5%, I'm out. This is how the people play the game. I'm 50%, so therefore 5% up and down, it doesn't matter. But for me, only have 12%, only have 5%. That 5% up and down, I'm out. So if Walmart continue to play the game, everybody will die in the long run if he's market leader. And that's what the regulation come in, all right? We are not talking about the law here, all right? In USA, yes, Walmart has been sued by a lot of they call it antitrust law. They call it predator price. Predator pricing. Predator pricing means that you're a predator. So I'm the prey. The predator means that you're line share. You are line share right now, and then you even cut the price. So for the small guy, for the less than 5%, I cannot survive because this bumping up and down. How can I do? So it will cost me a lot of trouble. So everybody will dry out. For the small guy, will dry out, and which is true. If you look at Walmart's growth in the last 20 years, we'll tell you more about that in the Walmart, in the retailer. But if you see that Walmart really led the whole economy in recession. He's the guy who drive the whole price war. So he keep buying from China, keep buying from that, cut the price, maintain the price low, and no one can make money. So they are the contributor for the recession. Some people argue that, and the reason I interpret this way is just what happened here. So what I try to say here, be very careful to look at what your position right now. You are the big guy or small guy, and what the big guy is doing and all that. You understand. Even though it's a very simple number, but the number behind that, they got a lot of story you can tell about all these number changes, number crunching, in where that's what happened. Okay? Sorry, very complicated, all right? But anyway, this is what MBA is about, all right? You have to know all this detail in order to make decision, in order to make a good decision, all right? In fact. Other questions? So here, go back to this one, all right? I give you the idea of 14%, all right? So again, this move along, this really move along. And if I can recall, these are the B2C products. So this is about 10% and 10% somewhere here, all right? So moving around here, then it depends on your market power, all right? So they do have something there. So you can see the really big guy, the Microsoft, Intel, they enjoy a lot of that because their expenses for promotion is less. Same as the Samsung, all right? Samsung already goes through this transformation period. They enjoy that. All the margin come from whatever they did. I call it carryover effect. In the last 5 or 10 years, they've been accumulated. And that's called brand equity. That's the really meaning of brand equity. So therefore, the big guy, if they bring more brand power in these really brand equity, work something here. I have my own territory, therefore I don't need to spend that much money. I can avoid the price war. I can enjoy higher market share. That's the power of branding here, really. Okay? Other questions? Okay, so good luck again, okay? Okay, now, and you know this quite well right now, right? This in fact from that one, and again, some are up and some are down, okay? And this in fact is not a markup, that's another game. But anyway, the idea is the same. The idea is they have so-called strategy versus, and the student just put it here, is all these are play in this whole map. Now, what can we do? All right? Okay, let's do that step by step. Awareness, name product association, in fact, all right? So Getaway Clinics, the positive brand awareness. This one is called Salesforce, okay? Brand meaning in the mind of consumer. All right, so you push it a little bit further and elicit the proper consumer response to a brand's identity and meaning. And that's what creates consumer brand resonance. All right, anyway, so these are just give a whole bunch of examples of how can I build up my brand. And your game is simple, yeah, because your game is markups, not the mark straight. Mark straight will give you more, like advertising, attribute. You cannot create all that. You have to build up all that. And this is very simple game, in fact. So this one, you might need all this thinking when you do the another complicated game called mark straight, right? Drivers of brand equity. So anyway, so this one keep talking to you about what are behind this equity. So they got all kinds of elements. All right? Then you got marketing activity and meaning transfer, very interesting, all right? So you have a very basic element of all the brand, packaging, everything, all right? Then you do marketing activity to help that, all right? Especially in marketing B2C, we call it advertising. You need to do that to help that. And then meaning transfer. Once you get the meaning of that, how can I transfer this product to the next one? And this, in fact, in your game, talking about what should I do to bring in my next product. These are called line extension we explained before. So right now I got G38, what can I do? Do I bring another one in here, or I will kill that or not? So these are all this thinking of that. All right? Okay, so these are just from the real. All right, they have different brand equity. And L'Oreal, obviously, again, this company do a good job in the last 10 years and turned out to be a global branding right now. Used to be like this small one, and they keep pushing that. Spend a lot of money to explore the whole global market, including the game, all right? Element, all right? Everything count. Brand names, slogans, characters, symbols, logos, these are called elements, URL, even your website. You know this one, right? Green Giant, in fact, do not do much about advertising. But in the old days, in the very old days, very interesting, this is a Green Giant. How do they create an image? And the whole story about agricultural product, like corn. Do you know what's the time to harvest the corn? What's the best time to harvest the corn? Or what's the best time to harvest whatever, potato, whatever that? What's the best time to harvest the agricultural product? And that's what the story is about. What's the best time? Morning, afternoon, or the noon time? In fact, before the dawn, before the sunrise, because at that time there's a dew there, the water dew there. So all this one is absorb all that. So the best time in fact is that time. And this whole Green Giant film, they try to say that we work so hard early in the morning, and then we start to harvest all the corn in the cornfield, and we work for you. And sun start to rise, and we are ready to send you to every home. And then something like that, all right? Anyway, all right, so this is very old concept. See here. In fact, I haven't sat down since 1925. Very interesting, all right? Anyway, so these are the film. Anyone know this? You had to notice that in USA, Mr. Clean, I guess. Is that right? Yeah. Something like Mr. Clean, all right? Do what? The target is housewife. All right? The target is housewife. And in general, those desperate housewives need a strong man like this. All right? You can see that their target is housewife. Okay? So anyway, I try to say that what's the brand element? So brand is not just a brand itself. It's a logo, there's everything behind that. This is what the brand name is. Okay? And then there's a choice criteria element. How can I do? Right? Memorable, meaningful, likability, transferable, very important, adaptable, and protectable. Okay? Foreigner students probably don't know what it is. Now, what's it is? Yeah, they don't know that. See? They don't know what's going on here, right? No, they might know this. Okay, so these are very, very interesting. This is survived for a long time, all right? You can see that. So memorable, meaningful, and likable, right? So these are just match whatever that. So when you pick out the icon, very important. Very important to pick out the right icon to associate with the consumer, okay? This one might dying, I don't know. This might not work, all right? This guy that might not work, okay? 四大天王，郭董、周董说错了，不是郭董，这个是谁忘记了哈 ？These are from China, right? 因为 these are from China. They are the four top team that 古天乐了，是吧？这个呢？真的啊，拍那个的是吧？OK, all right. This one changed, right? A little bit of that.
Yeah.
More green, not blue, right?
No, they still have the same colors. Not a wave, it's like a curve up.
The curve out, okay.
I didn't recognize it though. I was like, what's that? Is that
All right, I did not realize that as well. All right, so this must be the old one. This is the old one, yeah. Okay, I will look into that to see how they change that. Okay. holistic marketing. What it says is not just branding or the activity, all right? So that personalization, we got all kinds of personalized, different flavor, you give it that, all right? These are called customization, we mentioned before. Integration, you have to integrate all the 4 P's together. That's what integrate is about. Internalization, meaning that the company inside internal marketing, all right, all the employee, all the internal. So these are these so-called holistic marketing. And again, these are, I think the substring in USA, I think they have all the different titles here. And this is the higher, one of the top brand in China. They have slightly trouble, all right? It's slightly trouble. And the reason is they were burned by themselves, all right? 自焚, all right? Did you see that? Anyway, so these are just a whole bunch of products about even the leading brand in China. They don't keep their promise, they don't keep their quality, and they start to slice. All right, they just start to slice. And the reason of hire is so strong is because of political, not because of marketing. Do you know that? This guy is 人大代表. I don't know how to say that. 人大, I don't know how to say that. People's representative, in the whatever. So this guy is a political figures. The CEO in is political figures. And this guy in occupy that in the position. So very easy for them to distribute the product. Right? So, but still, I think a lot of challenges, like Samsung, like LG, like all kind of Philips, they coming to the China. They start to face a lot of problems of that. What I try to say here, this successful story come from political link, not come from marketing. Right? So these are, in the long term, they might have trouble. Secondary source, we're talking about brand, logo, these are primary source. And secondary source such as, all here, alliance, I don't know what ingredient, ingredient means suppliers, company, and all that, employees, endorsers, things, channel, event, and all that. All right, these are so secondary, all right, secondary. Example such as Mio, you know Mio, right? Don't know that. Mio is supposed to be GPS, right? GPS, I think number 2 right now in Europe. TSMC, how about this? Donna had a big trouble right now. The trouble comes from AIG. In fact, this insurance company make a huge money. People, you don't know that. This is one of the most profitable company in Taiwan. I think they make about 6.4 billion NT dollars last year. But because of this one totally owned by AIG, and AIG running in trouble, AIG try to say that. All right, so these are in ways, so a lot of Taiwanese, a lot of people, insurance company right now, they have some trouble. Once they have that one, and the new takeover by a new company, what I try to say here is people start to worry, whether this brand name can keep all the promise as it used to be. So I think this right now there's some kind of financial problem, financial trouble right now. And we never know. The new company or new management will do the company good or not. All right. Anyway, so again, whole bunch of brand name, whole bunch of company, all these are in the service. Also in the service. All right. So these are the secondary source of that. And the next one is how to measure that. And again, it's another controversial issue. How can I measure the brand equity? Because it is intangible. How can I measure that? All right. So these are a big hot topic in marketing. It's very difficult to measure. So they suggest that auditing, tracking that, and then do evaluation. Right? So this because a tangible product is so difficult to do that. Now, USA, the law in USA and British are different. So if you understand accounting, if you go to the British accounting, they allow you to have goodwill. They allow you to have the so-called equity. USA, no. Intangible, no. Forget about it. So you can see that. But it's a loophole. Some of the company claim that my goodwill is such a low. How can you define that? That's why USA said, no, you cannot do that. All right? But anyway, this is always a trouble for that product. And this is why accounting people look at marketing is different. Accounting and finance, because brand equity, brand name, you cannot measure that. So these are not. So they treat marketing as expenses, not as equity. That's a whole difference. So marketing people and financial people are totally different. I said that finance and accounting people treat that as expenses, treat marketing as expenses. But marketing said no, marketing all expenses is equity. All right, so these are very different mentality, and this go back to this, how we measure this brand equity idea. And one of the most famous one is Interbrand. I think we saw that. Again, this is a new company, just about 10 years, less than 10 years old. And they do a lot of survey right now. So these are their definition: market leader, stability, market share, and geographic globalization or not, whether they keep a trend, their feature support, and their protect. All right, so these are the Interbrand. And the most valuable product according to them is Google, GE, Microsoft, Coca-Cola. You know that. I think you saw this from time to time. And I try to check the newest one. I think you can see that they change all the time, all right? So Coca-Cola is still the number one, and IBM anyway. So anyway, what I try to say here is there are a lot of different ways to measure that. And by the way, why Coca-Cola is still number one? I don't know. Why Coca-Cola is number one? But they're always number one. You know, if you look at all these most valuable brands, Coke always very top. So these are two different values here. One is stock price. One is the really true value of the brand. All right? So these are the top company. In fact, I just mentioned that Google is all that because that's Google's stock price. But still, company value that IBM still higher than Google. But you look at the stock price value that is amazing. It's the Google performance. I'm pretty regret because when Google is out, it's $29. I try to buy that. But later on, right now, it's about $300 right now. Unbelievable, right? Okay, now managing brand equity, all right? Again, we can reinforce revitalization and brand crisis, and all this will happen. So equity is there, but they might have trouble. And again, this 2009, all right? The biggest winner, they're talking about the increase of that. Winner are Google, Amazon, Zara. You know Zara, right? Spanish company. Nestle, Apple, H&M, IKEA. Very interesting. These are all the B2C brand name. And it's not too surprised to see the losers this year. So these are all what? What area? Yes, they are all banks. Look at that. UBS, Citi, Express, Morgan Stanley, HSBC. Now, interesting, a couple of companies have started losing. Harley-Davidson. Why? Starbucks, interesting. Sony, Dell, and Lexus. All right, so these are the losers. Why is that? All right, anyone knows what happened to Harley-Davidson? How about Starbucks? The reason is very simple. Why? Nothing is expensive. You said too many competitors. Too many competitors coming up. 7-Eleven and McDonald's and City Cafe and all that suddenly decline. How about Sony? Sony keeps sliding, in fact. Samsung is one. iPad, all right? So Japanese people really regret that they did not invent iPad, they did not invent all that. And in the last 10 years, you did not see any new product from Sony, except PS2. Imagine that, do they have any hit product like Walkman, like all that? They don't. They don't. Blu-ray, yeah. This is the argument here, all right? I think the company have different philosophy. Japanese company want to be we call it closed system. They want to do a standard. Then everybody follow that. But it takes a long time to build up a standard. It's not easy. So they slow their own process, okay? Even though they spend so much money on R&D. And again, that goes back to your game. If you invest in the wrong product, even though you put a lot of money into R&D, that won't work. All right, so Sony, very interesting case. Sony invests a huge money in software. They buy Columbia. You know what? You know the one? They buy Columbia, then they buy all the video and movie. They buy all the movie copyright. They buy all the music copyright. What happened? All die. Why? Killed by what? Killed by Google and YouTube. Whatever they invest, all the software invest, they all die. So it's amazing. You know the Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster, the movie rental also die. So you can see that, you can imagine that when the Sony want to invest money, they say, okay, I'm have this Walkman, I have this VCR. So people will buy, people will rent movie in the long term. People will play music in the long term. No, you won't. Suddenly everything to be digitalized. Just like my son, all right? That's what he said, Daddy, don't do that. That's not illegal to do that. And right now he give me a 8G of music. He said, Daddy, that's a good music. I say, forget about it. I don't have time to enjoy that, all right? So, but what I try to say is, movie and music, all this, really available right now in all the internet. So you can see that that's really a big change. This is Sony. There, what happened to that? Dare the red. All right, that's their slogan. All right, dare the red. But why not the red anymore? Let me say it again. All right, their famous one is dare the red. So you can go online and make order and you buy all that. Now, why this won't work anymore? Because what? You know my question here? Why dare the red, the format won't work? Because of what? Another what? New invent? Brand, okay. Other new brand coming out, okay. That's one. What else? All right. Why is it important? Yes, Best Buy coming out. Why is it important? Doesn't care. Will also relate to your game. All right. All right. So that's tell you about something about that. Let me repeat these two people's idea. All right. When computer is hot, is in a new product stage, expensive. You go online to configure whatever you want. You say, oh, I need 3G, I need all that. So at that time, computer differentiation is very high. So price can be high. So the rate makes sense. But when the computer turn out to be commodity, you know what I mean, right? Commodity means that mass production, mass distribution. So once this product start to sell in Walmart, Best Buy, you cannot make money anymore. Consumer will buy whatever available in the Walmart, the same, because of commodity. We call it commoditization. So there, yes, they're going to have a big trouble because consumer will not order. And again, for the consumer, computer is computer, right? And we don't get so excited to buy a new computer anymore, right? It's just a necessity. So the whole system changed, the whole market changed, and that's what happened to Dell. How about Lexus? Also declined. Why? Very simple. Why? Because Japanese yen too strong. That's it. Japanese yen. If Japanese yen about $120, they make all the money, not only 87. So Japanese yen, Lexus in trouble, Toyota also in trouble. What I try to tell you that here is what is branding, what's the equity. And you can try to understand that, very complicated because all the reasons are different. There are all kinds of reasons there, all right? Some from economy, come from the commodity, come from new product, some from competitor, and so on. All right? So it's really complicated. Right? It's really complicated. In a way that why the branding it depends on a lot of product, depends on industry. Okay, so these are the brand equity. These are the global brand in Taiwan. I think they published that this year. Anyway, so the largest one is Acer. Both are PC, HTC. I think this is coming up. And MasterCard, Kang Shifu, okay? Instant noodle. This guy make a lot of money. Wang Wang, you know Wang Wang, right? Not a dog, not Wang Wang, all right?
This guy buy the China Times, all right, in Taiwan, all right. So 这个中国旺旺报 ，all right, means that only good news about China, no bad news, all right. Giant, another bicycle one. I think these two, okay, 联强, all right. These are the distributor right here. There's the distributor here. And then next one, okay. Transcend, I don't know why these are two. Is these two different? These are the hardware, right? Okay, Transcend is the one for the memory stick. Okay. Eventech. 这叫什么打？这叫什么打？研华 ，okay. D-Link and then Preston. You can see that Preston and 统一跟那个味全已经输给康师傅了。But anyway, these are the top brand name by Interbrand. I think they try to get evaluate of all these in Taiwan. Surviving a brand crisis. I'm not sure you still remember this product. You know this one? They are the first what? First one of the bottled water. People say, what the hell? I want to drink a cup. I want to drink a bottle of water. Very expensive, $2 or $3. Suddenly, in the whole world, everybody drink water. So this brand name start to decline. They are the first inventor of the bottled water. In fact, you can still go to the bar or the whatever that you can still night market. You can still buy that. It's very expensive, right? But the question is, I think the whole brain weight is still to shrink, and they don't know what to do. I think that's what they're talking about here, right? So anyway, so surviving a brain crisis, and they also has some other trouble. So what it says is you have to do it very quickly, in order to try to save all this brand name. All right. Anyway, these are just give you an idea of what happened to the finance and all that. This one go back to the one last time we were talking about the Hooters, airlines, and all the product, right? So these are co-branding strategy. Now, how can I extend that? All right. So with brand name, mix, extension, parent brand, and all the stuff. Okay. Now, what's this? What's brand dilution? Why is that? The keyword is brand dilution. What the brand dilution means? Once people build out the brand equity, they want to extend their equity to other product line or other product category. If that stretch too far, they will die. These are called brand dilution. Okay? You know this one? The typical Crest toothpaste is only $3. But this cost how much? $40. You can buy in Kmart, then you can get about $29.95. But what I try to say here is the same, the toothpaste. And then they cost about 10 times. All right? And you don't know why is that, all right? Did you see that? So what do they do? They touch that and then it turn out to be white. Yes, okay? Just like this. Then I tried that. I'm marketing people, so I bought one, all right? And I tried to put that there, all right? My gosh. Terrible, all right? If you are breathing, your gun is not very healthy, you put this kind of slip or there, you can feel its bubbles. Really? You put it there. And you have to take that you said that you do that for 1 week. And I put one day, I cannot sustain. I give away to my TA. And she always say, Dr. Tang, how are you? Oh my gosh, okay, all right. Anyway, it works, all right, but anyway, not easy for an old man like me, all right, so anyway, I cannot, I cannot do it, all right, anyway, so these are for this new one, all right, I think there's a very new product coming up, I think 2 years ago, very popular. Can we buy it in Taiwan? Can you buy it in Taiwan? Probably not, I don't know. They clean the gun You know, there's a different layer of that. I think they can clean the gun very deep. All right, so you put this kind of, I think they're only about 14. I think 7 or 14. I don't remember that. Then you can just put it on the teeth, both of that, and take it for about 20 minutes and take it down, and then repeatedly do that for about 1 week. You can get a white teeth. All right, Timberland and all this. I think we saw that before, and Louis Vuitton, and again all the product, fashion product they try to do a lot. Like Lacoste and all that. I think they do a whole bunch of brand name and distribution, all that. You probably don't know all that. I don't know that too, all right? And yes, people ask, brand extension really work? Especially talking about the Gap. Gap in where create Old Navy, Banana Republic, and all that, all right? And they have trouble in where. So these are the so-called brand extension. You cross to another category. You have a new name. So there are two possibilities. One is I using my brand name to do the same other product line, or I cross a new territory, create another new name. All these are the we call it brand extension. And there are different ways to do the naming. Individual name, P&G, General Mills, Cathay Airline, they all have different names. In other words, at the P&G, all the soup, the soap, shampoo and all that, they give all different names. These are called individual name. Brand keep family name, everything under GE, under Campbell soup. So Campbell soup, they have the mushroom, Campbell soup, or whatever these are called brand keep family name. Then they got separate family name. Sears has Kenmore. I think that's for the white goods, like washing machine. Craftsman, that the tools. Die Hard, not a movie. For what? Battery, yes. These are the battery. So they have all different kind of brand name under the Sears. These are called separate family names. All right? Corporate name. All right? Kellogg, Honda, Sony, HP. And what I try to say here is that there are degree of the naming of that. They have both advantage and disadvantage. For instance, what is the disadvantage of this? And what is the disadvantage of this? The question here is we have all kinds of names under company's name or divided by separate name. Now, which one is better? I think that's the question. And why? So Kellogg, you can see that whole bunch of everything under Kellogg, but still they're talking about Kellogg and Sony. You can see that they start to create something else. All right. But anyway, the question is which one is better and what's the advantage and disadvantage of that? What is advantage of this and disadvantage of that? Okay, very good. One product is bad. They don't influence that. All right?
But then the good product doesn't influence everything else.
So once, the same as this one here, once you have some trouble of the name there, like Avis, or like whatever that, you use the name through everything. Some of the product die or fail, you have trouble the whole company. The Benz and all that, they have whole trouble. Once they get Toyota, I just call something bad. People, Toyota is bad. If it's not bad, it's Toyota still really good, all right? So these are one of that. Now, again, why they do that? In other words, why P&G creates so many products, and this one creates only under the name of that. And again, I think the reason is go back to the resource. Go back to the resource. So for this one, you have put a lot of money to promote individually. This one, you don't have to. You just under the brand name, you just keep promoting corporate image. So the strategy will be different. They will focus more on corporate image. This one will focus on product image. So these are totally different strategy. Right? So most of the time, this one work, especially for B2C. This one for B2B in general. And this one, of course, if you understand the P&G, they have a lot of product manager, category manager, product line manager, because they have thousands and thousands of products to work with. All right, so these are all different names and different strategy from different company. All right, I think that we said that enough. All right, so sometimes go back to your game. All right, why I want to stretch it out? Because I want to increase my share space. All right, so I have catalog, I have all kind of catalog, and I occupy the whole space. So this segment is mine. That's a strategy. All right, so I think go back to your game. I have 4 different segments. You know, what should I do? So these are the first one is I want to occupy the space. Attracting consumer seeking variety, so they can have choices. Increasing internal competition within the firm, which is true. P&G, in fact, everybody fight each other. So keep in mind that people fight each other. So you share the same resource. All right? Getting economy of scale in advertising, sales, merchandising, and distribution, which is also true. So if you do a global one, you share this one. So what I try to say here is they have both advantage and disadvantage to stretch your product line. Now, another last one is brand role in brand portfolio. All right, flanker and they call it fighters. Labs and Pamper, they already have that. Suppose I have very high expensive product. I also come up with another cheaper one. These are called flanker strategy. All right, something like the Pamper, very expensive. They have another cheaper version. They call it Labs, to against another cheaper one. Cash cow, this is an interesting one. This is Gillette. They have March 3, Track 2, Ultra sensor. They all survive. So March 3 and they all that. Everything make money. So they don't care that. So they build up one of the product there. So if you go to the supermarket and see different format of Gillette, and all these are make money. These are called cash cow strategy. Low-end entry level, obviously, for the very expensive one, like BMW, they're entry level. So Mazda have the 3.2 as entry level. You can move on, upgrade to that one. High-end prestige. Let me see. Okay, Corvette, I think in USA, Chevrolet is very lousy product, but Corvette have very good image. So hopefully Corvette can help for the Chevrolet, to bring up their image. All right, so these are called high-end prestige. So they try to still work on this one. Hopefully this particular high-end product can help. These are the Chevrolet, the low-end product. These are called a brand portfolio strategy. I think we said that before. Virgin, very interesting one, especially in brand. You know Virgin, right? They create a whole bunch of the music, airway, mobile, energy, the range, unbelievable. About 200 GBUs. And these are all the most famous ones in marketing. These are the keynote of marketing. They have create all the brand name. This is exception of this guy. This guy have a lot of funny way of that. Read his story, right? Very interesting guy. Okay. This guy travel, right? When he travel, and he start from this. In how suddenly he said, "I want to have airline. I want to have energy. I want to have all that." Very interesting how he do all this. Screw it, let's do it. And this is a very popular one in USA, I guess. I think this. I think he created a brand name, and the question is, how can he let all the brand name to sustain to all the other segment? That's a very interesting case to study. All right, I think that's okay. Slogan. Let me do it very quick. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. You know State Farm, right? Insurance company. Just do it. This is what? Nike, or you've all been brainwashed, right? You know that, all right? Nothing run like a deer, all right? These are one of the farm products. Help is just around the corner, then you might not know. Help is just around the corner. I think there's a drugstore. Save 15% or more in 15 minutes or less. Wow, you guys know that. True value is the one here. True value is here. Geico here. Save 15% or more in 15 minutes or less. And it's a lot of Geico, very interesting commercial, very funny, caveman, whatever that is, very funny anyway. So they just get tired of phone call, you get it's an insurance company. Insurance company. We try harder. We are number 2. Therefore, we work harder. This from Avis. Some of the company always number 2, but they don't care. They say, yeah, we are number 2, therefore we work harder. All right, so that's the strategy. Who will pick you up? I don't remember. National what? Service, airport, I don't know. Next sale, done. Zoom. Now what's the Zoom? Mazda, all right. Zoom. Twitter. I'm loving it. You guys have been brainwashed. Innovation at work, this part for you. Always low price. This is Walmart. Anyway, this one talking about, we'll tell you more about like advertising. All right, so they tie in all these catchphrases with you and then to the brand name and give the brand the personality. So people remember all that. We introduced 2 things already, all right? About product line, product extension, and then the pricing, okay? Any questions? Especially on your game? All right, we'll try to do that next week about the channel, all right? About the channel, all right? How to do the channel conflict. That's another big problem, all right? Okay, see you next week.